We are in the kitchen where time is moving along, the Hampton Roadshow kitchen, with Chef Chris Ianni from McCormick & Schmick's this morning. In honor of National Seafood Month, we're making wild sea scallops with tomato basil risotto. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. Here are the ingredients for the risotto.
Risotto, right.
And the scallops as well.
Yes,
so what do we have and what do we need?
Well, basically what we're going to start out with is we're going to make risotto. It's a classic Italian dish that takes patience and
patience.
Yes.
And time. That's right.
Patience and time.
What kinds of ingredients should we gather for folks who are watching at home?
All right. Here we have arborio rice, which is a short grain rice, fresh tomato, Parmesan, white wine, yellow onion, olive oil, butter, garlic, some basil, salt and pepper, and some scallions.
Simple ingredients. Now, you said that this kind of takes some patience.
Takes patience.
And, of course, skill, but
it's really not that hard once you do it.
It's not that hard. Okay, that's what I was getting
at. Once you get the hang of it, I've taught some classes for TCC in the culinary department, and my final exam is risotto.
Is it really?
Very simple. We go into a practical, and I give them risotto Milanese, which is with saffron, and tell them, make it.
And that's the final exam?
That's the final exam.
Is there a reason why you use that one as the final test in your class?
The hardest thing to teach in cooking is timing.
Right.
And once you get the timing down, then everything else just kind of falls into place.
Yeah.
So if you can do a proper risotto, and it takes the proper amount of time, and you don't rush it, and it's done right, then you've actually listened to what I've said over the semester. So.
Very good. Well, my producer's telling us we've got 2 minutes left in this segment.
Okay.
What did you put in here? We've got the oil.
Oil, a little bit of onion.
Okay.
Just going to saute that up a little bit.
And then we put the arborio rice.
We're going to put the arborio rice in just to coat it, toast it just slightly.
And this to me, because normally when I make rice, you put the water, you boil
water,
but
let
this
it go.
is just, this is oil, no water.
No water. This is the most important thing you own when you make risotto.
Okay.
A wooden spoon. My grandfather would roll over in his grave if I was using a metal spoon right now. So.
Never do it. But
never do it.
Is there a reason? A particular reason?
It just helps so it doesn't stick to the bottom and doesn't react with everything you're putting in.
All right.
So
did he teach you in the cooking?
A little bit here and there. Yeah, he ate everything from scratch all the time, so it was a good way to learn.
That is nice.
So once it's coated, you want to turn your heat way down. And what I have here is just a simple chicken stock.
Okay.
Now you can certainly use vegetable stock, vegetable broth.
Right. So you use a chicken stock.
A chicken stock, right, for a little more flavor. If you're going to use a broth, they don't have quite as much flavor or depth to it, so you're going to have to adjust the seasonings.
Now, I didn't realize it was National Seafood Month.
Now, October is National Seafood Month, and we're running a promotion in the restaurant called the Perfect Combination, where you can come in and we offer 4 or 5 different things that you can make your own combination. Grilled shrimp, crab cake. Tonight we're running yellowfin tuna, mahi, which is local from Cape Hatteras, and then Atlantic salmon.
Oh, lots of different choices, which is nice.
5 different choices. Yeah. And the fish usually rotates. It depends on what looks good that morning.
Right.
So even here, this is a little too much heat.
How can you tell? 'Cause
you don't want it to rolling boil like that.
Oh, okay. You want it like a
nice
softer?
little simmer. Yeah,
okay.
Very gentle, very easy.
Now, the one thing I know about risotto, just a lot of stirring.
A lot of stirring.
You're watching for the heat and the
right. You want
what it does.
You want the rice to absorb as much liquid as it can.
Okay.
And that's why you go slow. Typically, you would add with a pot like this size, you would just add a couple of ounces at a time, periodically. When you see it start to thicken a little bit, a little more stock. And I think I just cut something on with my stomach. Oops.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to have to wrap up here. What happens in the next segment? And
well, we're going to sear the scallops. We'll finish the risotto, and then we'll go on to assembling the plate later.
All right. Very good, Chris. Thank you very much. Time and patience.
Yes, ma'am. Patience.
The Hampton Roadshow kitchen with Chris Ianni, chef from McCormick & Schmick's in Virginia Beach. This morning we're making wild sea scallops with tomato basil risotto. And the risotto, you kind of need to set aside some time for it, right?
It's a lengthy process, but it's
worth
the wait.
You're laughing. It's because you're a professor, too. Right?
No, not really. I wouldn't say all that.
But it takes a while. So you were telling me, what, an hour?
Well, 30 minutes to 45.
Okay.
30 to 45 minutes. Like I said, it takes patience to get the right consistency that you want.
Here, let me help you with that, and you can do the talking.
Okay.
Do you have to keep stirring the whole time?
No. But you don't want it to stick, so
So
you're not constantly stirring, but you're paying close attention.
You can't leave. You can't watch TV or anything.
No, I wouldn't do that. No.
Don't do that.
No.
You've actually added more liquid since the last time we saw
ma'am.
you. And why'd you do that? What was the reasoning?
You want the rice to absorb as much liquid as it can. Now, right now, it's still pretty al dente, which means to the tooth. So it's kind of chewy. So the more liquid you add to it, it'll cook and soften, and then you create see how it's kind of thickening a little?
Yeah.
And that's because it's releasing its starch.
Can you cook it too much? Is it possible to do
You can
that?
overcook it, absolutely. It'll turn to a big pile of mush, so you don't
not
really
good.
want to do that.
All right, so you really do have to be on top of this.
Right.
You then are going to add something to this risotto at a certain point?
Yes. Once you get it till it's just about done, you'll add your tomatoes, your basil, and then Parmesan cheese to help thicken it a little.
Okay. At what point can you do that?
We're probably, from this point, about another 10 minutes.
Okay. So why don't we get started on the scallops,
Sure.
and maybe we can show folks what it is you do when you get to the certain point here with the risotto. The scallops themselves, they're looking pretty good.
They're
in season right now, or is it a good season?
They're pretty much
Does it matter?
year round. You can get them. These are U10 dry packed scallops.
Okay.
They are sea scallops, so they're wild. Basically, I'm just throwing a little salt and pepper on it. Got a cast iron skillet, and add a little oil to it, just a little.
And what kind of oil is that again?
This is an olive oil and it's a blended oil, olive oil and vegetable oil.
Now, as far as buying scallops,
I don't want to burn you.
Oh, I'm going to back up then. Oh yeah, he burned Carrie earlier. Was it you were here a couple months ago?
Nobody knew. She took it like a champ.
She did. She told us after the show.
Didn't even flinch. That's what amazed me.
Yeah, I'm going to back up though.
Yeah.
As far as buying scallops, you said they were U10?
U10. U10 is the size, which means they're under 10 per pound.
Oh, okay.
Then they come 20, 30, 10, 20, all the way down to base scallops, which are the smaller, dime size.
All right. Those are nice, and those look like they're on an angle.
Well, that's just the shape
the way it
of
was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Just the shape.
So salt and pepper, and you're obviously, as far as in the cast iron, why is it cast iron versus any other kind of
I just prefer
pan?
cast iron because you can get a nice sear on it.
Oh, okay.
It can be done in any kind of pan. It can be done in a non-stick pan. It can be done in a regular pan. If you're doing it in a non-stick pan, just a little oil on it. If you're doing it in a regular pan, you probably want to put a little bit more oil into it so it won't stick. You're doing pretty good. You're kind of chopping at it, though. You might want to stir it.
Stir it? Watch out now. Watch out, Chris. But it's all right. Because you were mentioning earlier, you do teach a class, and this risotto is something I'm going to try and learn myself. So we'll see. Is it possible to show us a little bit of what you would add into this when you are ready? Because this is not the consistency you're looking for right now.
No, it needs to go down a little bit more. Basically, you just add any kind of tomatoes you'd like.
Okay.
We use Romas. They're a little bit sweeter. You can use heirlooms. You can use regular tomatoes, yellow tomatoes, green tomatoes for that matter.
Okay.
When you get it down, you don't want to cook them too much because you don't want them to turn to mush.
Okay.
They still want them to be somewhat firm. So when you get to that, basically just add the tomato in, stir it, add your basil, and then a little bit of cheese at a time until it gets soupy. It needs to be rich.
Okay. Well, we are going to wrap this up in our next cooking segment, finish up the risotto, and finish up our scallops. Chris, thanks very much.
Anytime.
We are finishing up our risotto, and the scallops are done already. Where are they, Chris?
They're finishing in the oven.
Okay. You sauteed them both sides, and then stuck them in the oven?
Just stuck them in the oven.
All right.
You don't have to do it in the oven.
Okay.
No.
You're just doing that for us.
Doing that because it's,
Right, because of the time issue that we have. What are you doing now?
I'm going to saute a little spinach to go on top.
Very nice. Now, I know that this is not completely done. It's not the way you would do
Not
it
quite.
if you had all the time you...
It's close, though. It's pretty close. Why don't you want to go ahead and finish it?
Yeah, I would love to. So can I put the tomatoes in?
Absolutely. Add the tomatoes.
And you were saying any type would be fine.
Any type of tomato is fine. You can use grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes,
Very nice. And as far as the scallops, again, because of the time issues here, you put them in the oven so it doesn't get
Usually it's about
too much
4 to 5 minutes on each side. You want them a nice medium, mid-rare to medium.
Now, I was asking Chris in the break about using regular rice in a risotto And
it's challenging.
Probably not.
I wouldn't try it. I'd go ahead and just buy the arborio rice and do it that way.
Yeah. Now you just came from the Signature Chef's auction.
I did.
Signature Chef's dinner at the Founders Inn last weekend. How was that experience?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, good. All good for the March of Dimes. So thank you for doing that.
It's a very, very good cause. My 2 kids were actually the ambassadors for the March of Dimes. So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's why last time when I was here, Carrie got me all choked up asking about my son. So. See?
She said then he burned her, but everyone's okay, and your kids are okay too.
They're doing well, yeah, absolutely.
Great.
You want to go ahead and add the basil to that?
Absolutely. All of the basil?
All the basil.
And you, just what kind of oil did you use, and you're just frying up the spinach?
I use the same, just a little blended oil, the same olive oil.
For all of it?
Yeah.
And I remember you said earlier when you put in the cheese, you have to fold it in and you do it slowly, like
do it slowly,
not all
right?
At once?
You don't want to dump it all in at once. Okay. Just a little bit at a time.
And does all this cheese go in there eventually?
No, that's more for show than.
Okay. I kind of go light on things, so you gotta kind of let me know if I'm supposed to put more.
Good.
Okay.
Why don't we do that?
Okay.
Just stir that in.
And then I know you have here the finished product, like the real finished product.
Yeah.
So as far as what's supposed to look like,
it's supposed to
look like that.
Something similar to that.
When you were explaining it to me earlier, you want the arborio rice to kind of soak up all the liquid that's around it, right?
Right.
All right, so we got a little bit more work to do in this pot right here. How would we plate this up?
Plate it up?
Right. Yeah.
Let me borrow this.
Now, so for folks who don't know where you guys are located,
we're at the town center in Virginia Beach. We're right in the same little area as the Sandler Center.
Okay. And for National Seafood Month, lots of good stuff going on for that. Yeah.
Now, when you put this in, I worked under a great chef. For anybody who's been in this area for a while, knew Meredith Nichols. Mm-hmm. He did Cafe Rosso, and I had the honor of working under him for a long time.
Wow.
And he taught me that a portion of risotto should be 7 pasta spoonfuls. You should be able to eat 6 pretty easily and really have to force yourself to eat the 7th one. So that's the proper amount of risotto.
Very interesting. And that 7th one, why do you have to force yourself? Because you're full?
Because it's so rich.
Very interesting. Very interesting. That's a nice dish right there.
Around. A little bit of spinach for garnish.
Good tricks, Chris.
On top. And you can certainly do a sauce. We change the sauce with this. From time to time, we'll do like a whole grain mustard butter around the outside. We'll do a citrus butter, a lemon butter, or you could do fragrant oils. We've done things like saffron oil, basil oil, parsley, paprika, anything to kind of jazz the plate up. Done a little, just a little green, a little color.
All right. Very, very nice. We can't wait to try it. Thank you very much for making this for us today.